was electric a night ago, and that's what it took for the Angels to put that 14-game losing streak to bed. Shohei Ohtani did something yesterday that he accomplished on 3 occasions last year during his MVP season, and that is hit a home run on nights that he starts. And yesterday's was not an ordinary start. Finished up the night with a 101-mile-an-hour pitch. We thought that it was going to be a good night for Shohei when he struck out Rafi Devers on 3 straight splitters in the first inning, something you don't see him do very often early in his start. And Jeff Fletcher from the Orange County Register not only had a good seat for that game last night, he has written what a lot of us consider to be the definitive Shohei Ohtani book, chronicling his coming to the States and his dominance with the Angels. Jeff, thanks for the time. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Maddie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's talk about what happened yesterday. I mean, describe, if you can, whatever weight there was in the clubhouse, in the ballpark. I know things were a little bit different when Phil Nevin arrived, but a 14-game losing streak is still a 14-game losing streak, no matter what kind of turnover exists.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty ugly scene, and I got to give the players credit. They handled it about as well as you can handle it in terms of not, having blow-ups or, throwing things or going crazy. They just sort of took it in a mature way, and every day they just came back and did their work. But still, you knew they were very tired of it. They were very tired of answering the questions about it. We were tired of asking the questions about it. The fans were certainly fed up with it. It was the same story over and over again. And there is definitely, last night they said it felt like they won a playoff game, when they finally got the streak over with.
It's so easy, as you know, Jeff, to vilify a manager or a head coach in pro sports when things go bad. We all know that the streak was not the fault of Joe Madden. However, he was the one that paid the price, and I think Joe, understanding the game and understanding the business, understood the move, though he certainly didn't like it. Did you have a chance to visit with him on his way out?
Yes, I did talk to him, and like you said, he was not. He was surprised, but he was okay with it. I mean, he's done a lot in this game. He's managed for a long time. He's won a World Series. He's still getting paid $4 million this year. So I think that he was he understood the business, and he still feels like this team is going to win. He believes that Phil Nevin is gonna help them, and I think he was okay with it.
I want to take you back to one moment a couple of nights ago when Phil Nevin was managing the team for the first time, and Phil's been a managerial candidate for years, as you know. Jose Suarez looked like he was out of gas. He was 4 2/3 into the start. That's generally the time he gets the hook. Phil ran out there. It looked like he was going to yank him. He patted him on the rear end, got kind of up in his face, and the crowd applauded. And Suarez got the next guy and gave the 5. Was that something that fans are still talking about? Is that something that could help us define what Phil Nevin will be as a manager?
Well, I'm as guilty as the next guy of always saying, like, I feel like managers all pretty much do the same thing. But when Phil Nevin walked out there, I had already written the line in my score sheet, pitching change, and he left him out there. And I thought that was actually something different that you don't see very often. I don't know if it's going to be a sign of things to come or a trend, or if it was just a one-time situation, but it definitely was something you don't see managers do a lot. And I think fans like to see that. Players certainly like to see that, see the manager show some faith in them and come out and give them kind of a kick in the pants and say, let's go. We got one more batter. Let's get him. And both Nevin and Suarez were very fired up after he did get the strikeout.
So as far as starting pitching goes, we know that for the next couple days, tomorrow and Sunday, that is, the Angels have Michael Lorenzen and Patrick Sandoval, but still the initials TBD opposing Tylor Megill of the Mets today. Any idea who's going to pitch for the Halos tonight?
Well, the Angels did not announce it last night, but Jonathan Diaz, who was supposed to pitch in Salt Lake, was scratched from his start there. He pitched pretty well in a couple times. He had a start against Oakland in a doubleheader. He did pretty well. He came into one of the games in New York after, I believe it was Shohei Ohtani got knocked out pretty early, and he pitched pretty well. So he certainly has a chance to keep him in a game, which is, what they need.
Getting back to Ohtani and remembering what happened a couple of starts ago in New York, where the conversation started around pitch tipping. And I think Joe Madden was a little cryptic in his response when he was asked if he thought Shohei was pitch tipping. He answered by saying the Yankees are really good at reading pitches. Now that it's been a couple of weeks, and now that Shohei's had a dominant start like last night's, is there still discussion on potentially his tipping pitches? And if so, has that been fixed?
Well, he said that he looks at all of his starts all the time to see if he's doing anything that could tip off the hitters. Certainly last night there was no indication of that. He got a lot of swings and misses. He was very effective. I mean, it's possible that he was still doing the same thing that he was doing against the Yankees, but just the Red Sox couldn't see it and the Yankees could. So we don't know, or maybe he fixed it. But definitely last night there was no indication that the Red Sox had any idea what was coming.
You have written, as we mentioned when we brought you on, what I think I and other people would consider the definitive Shohei Ohtani book in terms of his coming to the United States, joining the Angels, surgeries, missing time, and then culminating in an MVP season last year. A couple questions on the book. First of all, is it translated into Japanese, and do you garner sales abroad?
Yes, it is. It will be released in Japan the same date on July 12th that it's released in the United States. And yes, I do get some money from those.
Okay, now we're talking here. Tell us about the book, what it's called, and am I right in terms of the breadth of his story, what you handle?
Yeah, it's Showtime, the inside story of Shohei Ohtani and the greatest baseball season ever played. It basically, about half of the book is the 2021 season, and the other half of the book is just kind of leading up to that, which includes his time in Japan, his time in the NPB, the process that got him from there to playing for the Angels, and then all the ups and downs of his first 3 big league seasons, which included Tommy John surgery, Rookie of the Year, questions about whether he should be a two-way player, and kind of the work he did between the 2020 and 2021 seasons to really turn things around, because 2020 was a very bad year for him. In his own words, it was pathetic. So he obviously did a lot of things in that winter to get back to what he was, or to be what he was for the first time in the major leagues. And so this book looks at all of that.
We talk about his candidacy for future AL MVPs a lot on pregame spread here on MLB Network. He is still listed as a favorite, among the top 3 favorites at least, on BetMGM. The question I have for you is this. If Shohei continues to do what he's done the last year or so, and even if he falls short of the statistical plateaus of last year, if he makes 27 starts and DHs and hits, I think worst case scenario, we could count on 25 to 30 homers, is he the American League MVP in perpetuity?
Well, he's got to do that. First of all, I think a lot of people said that last year. Oh, if we're going to give him the MVP just because he's a two-way player, then we're going to have to give it to him every year. And I think that's, let's cross that bridge when we get to it, because as we've seen this year, it's not that easy to do what he did last year. And I think, right now he's been above average as a pitcher and a hitter, which is great. It's really hard to do, and it certainly deserves recognition. I don't know if he's going to win the MVP if he, basically repeats what he's done for the rest of the season. And if the Angels don't make the playoffs, it will be tough for him, but he's still certainly, just by virtue of being an above average pitcher and an above average hitter, he's on the short list.
Good stuff. Fletch, we appreciate the visit. Look for the book in July. Jeff Fletcher from the Orange County Register joining us to talk Angels and Shohei Ohtani on a Friday. Thanks again, Fletch.
All right. Thanks, Matty.
Got to take a break.